project. And if you go to the Design 2 course, have it, the creative bank account activities, we've kind of stopped doing those. But if you go into resources and then the slideshow, that's actually where I put the information for this. I'm just kind of continuing on that slideshow, even though it's not the same type of activities. This project is going to be a 2-week project. We're going to spend a bit more time on it, and we're going to actually try and make a nice finished work on this one. So if you scroll down to the bottom of this, I have a little, these last few slides of the hidden pen and ink drawing. You might have seen these around the school before. This has been an ongoing project that Mr. Leduc has done, and I actually did it when I was in high school in his class. The idea is you start off with a paper like this, and Mr. Duke has a bunch of these little cutouts of pen and ink drawings. He actually has a book with a bunch of these old pen and ink drawings, and he makes photocopies of them and then cuts out these little snippets of them. And in each one of these, there's like a great deal of detail you can pick up on. And what I've gone ahead and done is I took, or Mr. Leduc and I, on pieces of paper, we went and pasted 3 of these on each piece of paper, scanned them in as a PDF. I have those up on Schoology right now. So you can go onto Schoology, and in the remote folder, you can find a link to this PDF, and you can go ahead and download it, and then pick one of the, I think there's like 6 of them, or 5 of them. You can pick one of the 5 and go ahead and print it off on a piece of paper. And then from that printout, you can use, you can go ahead and do this strategy I'm going to be talking to you about here. As you're doing these, the main goal is to hide these original cutouts. You want it to look like they're totally blended in, and when someone looks at the artwork, they won't really be able to tell where those cutouts begin and end. Here's a really good example of one. You can kind of see, I think the cutout's right in this area here. But if throughout the piece you kind of match the artist's style and the way they make the marks, you can match the line thickness, you can match the amount of complexity. Like if the area where there's a cutout, let's look at this one as an example. This cutout has a lot of dark values in it. So I would want to use those dark values in a few different other areas around the piece to have it blend together so it's not as obvious where the cutout is. And that goes for any line quality you see, any particular textures or whatever, like those marks in the background there. You can bring those out and put them in different places throughout the piece to help it blend together and be more hidden. As far as subject matter, you can do whatever you want. I have a couple examples here of finished pieces. This one is some kind of a crazy lizard monster. And at first glance, it's pretty difficult to find where those cutouts are. And that's the idea. You want to really blend them in nicely with different line work and textures. And you have 2 weeks to do this, so you can really dig in and get some interesting textures. Like here's one of those pieces right there. It's blended in really nicely. Here's another example. This one has a lot more strong dark values. And it's all based on whatever those original pieces are you worked from. Starting out, as far as the process goes with this, I would start with pencil. And like here's one I would start just doodling on myself. I'm starting off with a really light pencil sketch, trying to just place where I would want objects. And once you feel confident with the pencil, then you can go in with your pen and match the line work you're seeing. Like this has some pretty thick lines on that little spot. So I'm using actually like a fine liner to kind of match that type of line thickness and line quality. And this piece down here, I noticed has some interesting shapes. And I actually kind of copied those shapes over here on this side. So that helps like create some balance, and it makes it more difficult to pick up on where the original one is. I start from where those pieces are and branch outward and try and like fill the space and kind of continue the lines you see. Like these natural shapes and lines you see in here, you can kind of continue them. that's basically the gist of what we're doing. So you can go look at those PDFs, pick one of the 5, and print that one. When you do that, we actually pull it up here real quick. If we go to Design 2, I think I have them put in here already. Remote students, I made your own like remote student folder. And then here's those options. If you just click on the link here, here's those options. And there's 5 of them. So you can just go to like print. And when you do this, if it'll load, sorry, 1 second. When you go to print, you can actually select the page instead of all pages, do custom, and then just put whichever page you're wanting. If you're wanting page 2, just do page 2, and it'll just print that one you're wanting. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Email Mr. LeDuc if you have any questions. We'll get back with you as soon as we can. But yeah, you're just going to start branching out from these pieces and trying to connect them together, and you can make it a subject that is like, you know, a person or an animal or whatever, or it can just be abstract. I mean, it's totally up to you. But you can really dig in and get competitive about trying to make it as hidden as you can. I mean, it's really fun to do that. So yeah, go ahead and get started. This will be due 2 weeks from today, so you have plenty of time to work on it. So I'll look forward to checking in with you guys tomorrow during class time. And keep in mind at the end of class on Mondays and Thursdays, the last few minutes, I'll check in and kind of look at what you have going on and assess where you're at and what you need to work on still. So, okay. Have a great day, everybody.